How are you? Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kelvin West. I am here sitting with an amazing man by the name of Tully Balcom. Tully, you are here for the Phoenix Needs Special, panel discussion for Phoenix Panels Project. Okie doke. So we spent some time with Tully today, and you were talking about some. So what I'd like to do right now, Tully, is to kind of have you introduce yourself, tell us a little about who you are, and then tell us what your is it diagnosis? Is that what?
Yes.
So go ahead. The floor is yours.
I am Tully Balcom. I come from California, Santa Cruz County in particular. I come from a musical family that's artistic, and both of my grandfathers and several of my uncles are also engineers. So I have I come from both the critical thinking and the imaginative thinking types of people.
Amazing.
So I was always good at lots of different things, and I just thought that was why I was quirky. Then when I got older, my parents kind of stopped saying, "Oh, it's just a phase. Oh, it's just a phase." And my mom got me diagnosed when I was 22 years old.
Wow.
I had had a diagnosis before because I went to a Montessori school and they thought there was something wrong with me, so they sent me to a therapist who did a diagnosis of ADD and emotional disabilities, and also gave me like a IQ test.
Okay.
And for the IQ test, he gave me an IQ score of 145.
Now, I've never had my IQ tested. Is that high?
Yes.
Okay.
So 150 is gifted, I believe, and 180 and above is genius level.
Wow.
So I'm not gifted and I'm not genius level, but
How does that make you feel?
I don't care.
Good answer.
It's all relative.
Yeah. So 22.
So yeah, I was 22 when
Wow.
I finally got diagnosed with autism. When my mom told me about autism and I started like looking at it, I was amazed that there were other people like me.
Yeah.
And I finally felt like I belonged somewhere.
That must have felt amazing.
Yeah, it was great knowing that there were other people going through the same types of things that I was struggling with. Like not belonging, because I went through high school and didn't really understand other people very well.
Yeah. What does it feel like not to belong to something that not to belong? What is that feeling like?
I'd say it feels like being lost, but not knowing which direction to go in to find oneself, I guess.
Wow. So, we talked a little bit earlier, and you said this wonderful thing about your mother, and how she kind of, she instilled in you the idea that, speaking with people and engaging in conversation was important. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So, I would always want to go and hide and like retreat back to my room when we would have people over for like dinner parties and such, because my parents were very outgoing people.
Yeah.
And I think I might be in some ways an extrovert and in other ways an introvert, because I come from very extroverted people, but I am also autistic, which is it's hard to reconcile those two parts.
Wow.
And so my mother would always have me participate in a conversation for at least 30 minutes, and then I could go and retreat.
Yeah. But she gave you the...
It was nice having that structure. Structure is really important for, well, people in general, but especially autistic people, because it gives us something to like latch on to that's somewhat normal for us.
Interesting.
And so because she was allowing me to go and do what I felt like I needed, but at like a cost.
Yeah.
It taught me to be able to interact with people, and that's really helped me out in life, because I can go to people and express my feelings or misgivings without worrying too much that I'm not going to be heard or understood.
Right. So, can I ask you a question? Do you have other autistic friends? Like you spoke a little about the place where you're living. Tell me about that.
I am in a program that's called Transition Academy, done by a place called First Place, and I guess First Place is the first of its kind in the United States, where it's a live-in community for autistic people and other people with neurodiversities. And what happens a lot with, or what I've noticed a lot with people with autism is there's other problems, not just autism. So a lot of people with autism also have like vision problems.
Interesting.
And their ADHD and that type of and dyslexia are also like very prevalent with all the autistic people that I've ever met.
Yeah. Would you say that you're more outgoing than your autistic friends now?
I am a lot more outgoing than than other autistic people that I know, except for my best friend. He's very outgoing, and I'd say he's a 1 or a 2 on the scale. So there's different types of spectrums that autism has, and there's like certain ones that are like specifically for it's been explained to me that autism there's like 3 or 4 different spectrums that
Sure.
that are associated with autism, and one of them is a scale of 1 to 5, and I'm a 3, which means I'm like middle of the road.
So you were talking about this a little bit earlier, and so can you tell us what a 1 is? 2 isn't? Yeah.
So 1 is if someone is a 1, then they're probably not going to be seen as autistic unless it's someone who actually diagnoses autism and has a lot of experience with diagnosing people with autism.
Wow.
And then a 5 is like borderline superhuman in some respect, like someone who can see a skyline and paint it, see a skyline once and paint it, every window and everything detailed perfectly.
Like minute detail, right?
Yes.
Like down to...
Yes. Is very aware of everything. Like that's just one example. Like other people are skilled in other ways within autism. So
yeah. I've heard that before, where there's kind of like been this idea that people who are autistic are actually operating at a higher level than, I guess, someone who isn't. Have you heard any of that, or what are your thoughts on that?
It's kind of like that. So, autistic people experience feelings more profoundly.
Okay.
So like the senses and like pain, like we experience pain a lot more profoundly than non-autistic people.
Are you talking physical pain, or are you talking like emotional pain?
I'd say physical pain. We're kind of unused to emotions in general. We're not. We don't process emotions the same way because our processing is so much more interconnected between things. Like there's a certain point in a child's life where their brain undoes, or this is how it's been explained to me, is that their brain undoes connections so that they can make new connections.
Wow.
But autistic people, their brain just makes more connections on top of the old connections. So everything is a lot more connected. So in high school, people would tell me that I'm random, but it was because they'd say something, and that thing would make me think of the next thing in the line, and that thing would make me think of the next thing in the line, and that thing would make me think of the next thing in the line. And so I had made like 7 or 8 connections in a line within a couple of seconds, and I'd say the last thing in the line.
Wow.
And they wouldn't know what to say and they'd call me random because they didn't see all of those connections that I made in my head.
Wow.
And since I hadn't explained those connections or anything, they just thought that there was something screwy going on in my head.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and I guess that kind of makes sense. If they're not aware of your situation or of your background, and you're,
Well, and I didn't know it was autism.
Yeah.
Autism back then, and they didn't know either. So
yeah. Wow. So Tully, we just wanted to spend some time with you and kind of introduce you. Like I said, Tully is going to be one of our panelists on the Phoenix Panel Project's Special Needs panel, happening on January 30th at the Haleo Basin Brewing Company. And we're really excited to have you on. That's all we need for you today. And I'm really excited to get to know you more. You are also an artist, so tell us a little about where they can find you. You got a website, you have a Facebook page, you sell some really great art. That's how, and I just want to give you kind of a shout out, if I may, and really kind of shout out your mother, because when I went to the place where you were doing your art, you were selling your art, you came right up to me. You came right up to me and you said, hey, I'm selling my art. And I said, awesome. I was taking a look at your art. And then you openly said, I'm autistic. And we had this wonderful conversation. And I just, I think you're an upstanding gentleman. And I think that you are, I'm really excited for people to learn and to and hear more about your story and your journey in life. So tell us a little about your art and tell us where they can find you if you'd like.
This past art night, I sold my first piece of art for, as far as that is.
That's amazing.
But I have an Instagram that I show my art on, and it's not public because I didn't know how people would receive my ideas, so it's...
And we don't have to make it public now, if you don't want to.
I know. It's TULLY_URDRASYL. Tully Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil is a reference to the great cosmic ash tree Yggdrasil. In Norse, or in Asatru.
Tully, if there was one thing that you could say to anybody listening today, that would either make them more aware or just something that's important to you in regards to being autistic or living an autistic life, what would that be?
I don't know. Just be yourself, because, like people always said that to other people, but people never said that really that much to me.
Yeah.
Because everyone thought that I was just weird or something. But yeah, just be yourself, because it's really hard to find who you are if you've spent your whole life trying to hide who you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end on that note. Thank you so much, Tully, for joining us today. We look forward to hearing more from you and about your journey on January 30th.
Okay.
Thank you.
For more information on Phoenix Needs Special, to reserve tickets, or to hear testimonials from other panelists and experts, please visit ybspros.com/Phoenix Panel Project. The Phoenix Needs Special panel discussion takes place on January 30th at the Haleo Basin Brewing Company. And don't forget to join the discussion by joining the Phoenix Panel Project group on Facebook and by subscribing to the Phoenix Panel Project podcast.